Hi, today I want to talk to you about a very important topic, how you bring up questions to people in authority. This has come to the fore in ADFI where some students have written in and say, look, how can I question a question? How can I write that I don't understand this, or I don't believe this, or I have seen something somewhere else and it doesn't ring true with the answer you're given? And the students are saying, we can't bring that up because if we do, it would single us out. And in medicine, sometimes there is a perception of a hierarchy. And of course, when you're at the top and you're at the bottom, you wonder about questioning somebody above you. What I need to point out today is how vitally important it is that you do that. The reason you bring up questions is for understanding. In conversation, a lot of us will ask questions because we're just thinking to respond when somebody says something or from what we believed previously. So what I invite you to do is to read questions, to listen to what anybody else says, and question to understand, not question to respond. And I want to bring up some reasons why from my own life. In the 70s, when I qualified, yeah, it was that long ago, there was a perception that you could not do a test for prostate cancer before a rectal examination, that you had to be very careful that you took the bloods early. And that was for a test called acid phosphatase. What happened then was that a student just coming into being a house officer actually took a number of cases in Glasgow and they checked them before and after doing a rectal examination, and guess what? They found there was no difference. So this was actually a myth, but everybody in authority believed it. So the first thing is there are myths. Secondly, in the 80s, I learned a very important operation in my day as a general surgeon, which was highly selective vagotomy. And we had to learn, and do any of you know what the nerve of Latarjet is? But I had to know, and we had to know in great detail for our exams. And then somebody invented Tagamet. And suddenly all those operations went. So what was actually true and was an operation which led to less dumping and less complications, although actually in the long term it turned out to have more other complications. We learned that, and now you wouldn't dare do it because what was perceived wisdom then isn't now. Benjamin Franklin said there are three constant things in life. There's death, there's taxes, and there's change. Whatever happens in life, it's going to change. And when you are learning and coming through in medicine, starting from you start as a medical student to the most senior professor, things are going to change. And if you don't change, if you don't learn, if you don't pick up new techniques or change those myths that you used to use or the perceived wisdom, you're going to fall behind. So all of us are students. From the day one to the day the most senior professor finishes, they're all students. We all have to learn. And that all comes down to asking questions. So what I want to impress on you is that you should always be skeptical. I, as probably the number one surgical coach in the world, will turn around and say, you must question what I say. You must be skeptical. That's not the same as being cynical. Cynical means you're attacking the question through me. You're talking about me, or that's what he would say, or that's what Irish do, or that's what Americans do. That is cynicism, and that's not on. Skepticism says, I ask the questions. Why and how? Why do you do it that way? Or how would that work for me? And those are questions for understanding. And that's what you have to do. When you're questioning authority, don't talk about, oh, that's what they would do, or I think, or I know. Don't tell me anything when you're asking. Ask as if you want to understand. Ask as if you want to know, how can I do that in my way of life, in my scenario, in my situations? And all of us who are the top coaches will turn around, and that's what we live for. When I first went into the army many, many years ago, and I was given a pip in my shoulder, my commanding officer said to me, he said, listen, Rodney, the only reason you have a pip on your shoulder is because of their other ranks, because there are people you need to lead. The only reason for being a coach and a teacher is because there are students. There are people like you who want and need to learn, and my function as a coach is to do that. So my function as a coach is to listen to you and to help you with the why, to help you with the how. So let me sum up what has to happen. When you read questions, when you want to question me about something, ask me why, ask me how, write it that way, don't tell me. You can tell me, look, I have read this, I have heard other people say, what do you think? And then you're not telling me, and you're not telling somebody senior, because that is disrespectful. You will expect respect as you get on in life. Don't be disrespectful. But that's not the same as being skeptical. And let me add one more thing. If you're going to be skeptical of me, be skeptical of you. Whatever you have learned and believed may not be right. It may also change. So hold that healthy skepticism in your mind. So the messages for today is, you must question to understand. You must question to learn. All of us must. So don't be frightened of it. It's how you say things. So ask why and ask how. Be skeptical, but not cynical.